You may know her as Kelly Taylor on Beverly Hills 90210, and she recently released her memoir about her adventures in Hollywood. Please welcome Jenny Garth.
Hello, Jenny. So why write a book, a memoir? I mean, that must be an undertaking.
It was a challenge. It was a challenge. I was trying sort of between creative outlets, and this was a challenge that I had never undertaken. So I thought, why not? You know, my life is halfway over.
Was there a point where you went, oh, I've gone too far. I got to turn around and go back. Oh, I can't go back. I've come so far.
This morning. It's very exposing. I mean, even though this book is not. You know, it's not a tell-all, it's not a nasty book by any means. It's more of an exploration of myself and my own thoughts and sort of things that have happened in my life and how they have sort of molded me into the person that I am. It's very vulnerable to put yourself out there like that, and people are either going to like it or they're not. And
was it very cathartic for you?
It was, in a way, yeah. I mean, I've certainly been in a transitional phase in my life for a few years now, so working through a lot of stuff. And, you know, I think in my 40s, I think in your 40s, things like that happen naturally. But being able to share that with other people has been sort of, I don't know, rewarding in a way I can't really explain.
What if there was something you would put your finger on that would maybe be like an example, if you will, that's in the book that you want? You know what? I think it's important. I share this, maybe not so much for the audience's interest, but for me to really say this is what I want to talk about, and I just want to share it.
I think the part about, I talk about coping in the book. I talk about my track record of coping my whole life, starting with when my father got sick when I was a young girl, and coping with what that did to me and my family and the rest of my life, and coping with leaving my family behind and moving away from them, coping with becoming famous really quickly and not really knowing how to deal with all of that, and losing my childhood, and you know, all these things sort of happen, you know, like a snowball. Your life happens, and then you just learn how to deal with it, and not until you really take a look at it and like examine it or sort of, you know, break it down, do you say, look at how I've been really dealing with all these things, and look at the patterns that I've been, you know, I see that I'm having in my life, and
well, does that help you to break your patterns or to continue?
Hopefully,
yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, there are patterns that are working for me, and patterns that I love about myself, and then there are patterns that I want to leave behind or change a little.
What'd you leave behind so far?
Wow. Oh, what did I leave behind so far? You know, I think a little bit more before I talk, and I am not quite as I don't know. It is. I'm in an ongoing process, and I think that admitting that and being in that is the most important thing.
So you look at yourself as still a work in progress?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you said something that I thought was very interesting. You said, I've come to realize that in sharing ourselves, we become ourselves. Elaborate on that.
I have never been much of a sharer my whole life. I am not one to go deep or talk, you know.
Yeah.
And now as a woman, I love to sit and talk to other women and share stories. And I think that in doing that, I've really found who I am.
And you're not alone.
And I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And neither are the women that are sharing their stories with me, and it feels so good.
Yes. I can.
You talked about your struggle with your dad, or going through that. What was that process like for you?
Well, my dad first got sick when I was 13. He suffered a heart attack when he was 37.
Wow.
So that's something I've been dealing with my whole life, and it really changed our whole family forever. And he stayed alive until he was in his 70s. But that was just, you know, every day waiting for the phone to ring and that call to be, you know, the call that I'd been dreading. So that, you know, all my whole life was just like on pins and needles waiting for that. And I don't know, I think that affected me in so many ways, but it's also affected me in really great ways, you know, becoming an advocate for the American Heart Association, and, you know, I educate women now about heart health, and I turned it around. I try to make good out of it.
Yeah. But now you've more or less got everything together at this point, and now you keep moving forward, and now you're doing a television series with a very good friend of our home and family here, Tori Spelling, who worked with you on 90210.
Right.
Yes. So.
Yes.
Tell us about this new project.
Yeah, tell us about it. It sounds so exciting.
Oh, we're really excited. We're executive producing it together, so we're like partners off camera and on camera.
Oh.
Wow.
I say we're partners in crime solving, and we have a really great time, and it's really a good creative thing. You know, we're helping write the stories, and these two girls that were on a famous show were famous mystery solvers, crime solvers, like Charlie's Angels. And the show went off the air, so then they didn't talk for a long time. Now they've come back together to figure out that they are going to solve real-life crimes now and form a detective agency called Mystery Girls.
How much of your life and Tori's life are kind of mirrored in this a little bit?
A little bit,
Sounds
yeah.
familiar.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun, a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff coming in, so.
Wow.
It
I
sounds
think the audience will like
adorable.
How do you like wearing the hat of executive producer?
Yeah.
It's a lot. There are a lot of emails.
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
Well, you have to start sharing.
Yeah.
Delegating.
Delegating,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming by. Good luck
Yes.
with your book.
Yes.
It's out already.
So, Tori, we send our love and
Jenny's
best
book,
wishes.
Deep Thoughts from a Hollywood Blonde, available right now everywhere books are sold. You can pick it up, and you can follow her on her Twitter at Jenny Garth.